Hello and welcome to Bakerstreet.coasters, where today I will be discussing about Galactica, or previously known as Air, or it literally is still Air, but I'll get into that later on. Now, Galactica opened in 2002, for the 2002 season, and was opened as the title of Air. Now, God knows where Air came from. It was literally in Forbidden Valley. They just came with the idea of, let's soar through air. They had different mottos of like, prepare for air, assume the position, which was very, very good. And I like their marketing for that. Now, also their marketing was topped off by, let's just say, Cadbury's Heroes. I mean, whatever sponsor would you have with Air, apart from chocolate? I mean, Air and chocolate, it doesn't work. Anyways, so... now Air, as it was known, I've never actually been in it, was the first designated flying coaster in the UK, and it took you around a bunch of trees, a bunch of skies, a bunch of paths. That's about it really. It's literally just a unique blue flying coaster, and it was very plain. It came out the ground and went up just because they had a tree height limit, like Alton Towers do have a tree height limit. And it's the same old ride we see today, so I can't say much about Air. Now, I also know there used to be a shop. Now, the shop is now the roller coaster restaurant, which, again, I don't know why they took away the Air shop, but we roll with it, especially when it was the first designated roller coaster with VR. Moving on to that. So, yes, it was known for 2016. Well, 2015 it closed. It was announced at fireworks. And then it opened back up in 2016 as the world's first designated roller coaster, and had Tim Peake, I think it was, I don't know who it was, an astronaut, go on it and make sure this is like properly featured or themed or has an experience of going to space. Now this really didn't work, let's just say, because firstly it was VR, and I get VR's good, it gives you some experience whilst you're zooming around the track, but at the same time I heard they were uncomfortable, they weren't worth it, and because of COVID and because of COVID, they had to basically minimise how many people had the VR. So firstly it was, everyone got VR on the seats, and you had to, and then it was limited to the back seat people, where people on the back seats, like literally the very back, had VR, and then they limited it to you have to pay. And then, best but not least, you had to, they just got rid of it completely, because it wasn't manageable with the cleaning process and how quick they were getting people on. So basically, Galactica kind of just turned back to Air. Now, when it was Galactica, they had a little portal come out from the first drop, and then that was pretty much it, nothing else. I'm not even joking. 2016 was pretty a boring year, because, there wasn't any huge investment into the park, because yes, you had the Smiler crash, and then you also had Nemesis Subterra close, Charlie and Chocolate Factory closed that year, you had other stuff closed that year. I don't remember what else closed that year. I think Steve Booby's Land was open. The Smiler closed that year, and then it got reopened years later. Anyways, so the fact that this area of Forbidden Valley was very, very dull. It still is dull today. I mean, they had stuff like, enter galactic space, or enter the cosmos, or Galactica, a journey beyond. I mean, that's very, very unique, but at the same time, it's only unique with the whole aspect of VR. Now, the queue line is absolutely appalling too. Now, last year we saw the Smiler Takeover have some theming in that queue line. It was an astronaut suit, which was yellow and black, suited to the Smiler, and then, they kind of took it away and the theming's lost. I mean, if there was an astronaut suit as soon as you walk in from the entrance, amazing theming, good theming, it'll crank up the thing. So at the moment, the theming is just a piece of metal, like most things are. Which is annoying, because, the only roller coaster which hasn't got a dull moment in it is probably Nemesis, and yet again, that gets a bit boring when you're going through the whole lengthy queue line. But I've told you about that before. If you want to go about Nemesis Reborn, it is on my YouTube somewhere. So yes, Galactica. Now, Galactica is still named Galactica to this day. It no longer has the air shop. It is the roller coaster restaurant, unfortunately. And the only shop in that area is Bunker 94, which opened this year, but before that, there was absolutely nothing. This ride has no Hyperion is closed again. Just found out. Oh, bonkers. Guys, Hyperion is closed again. Sitting in at Fort Park. Now Galactica also it has no theming to the area. So you've got Nemesis Subterra, where you walk into the Phalanx facility. Then you walk down a little bit further, you've got the Blade, and then you've got the arcade place, you've got Bunker 94, you have Nemesis Reborn, which is the whole area is based off. And then you walk down a little bit way more further, and the next thing you know is you've got Galactica, which has no theming whatsoever, but it's constituted in Forbidden Valley. Now, Forbidden Valley is a very dark and wholesome place, which necessarily means it could get themed to Nemesis. Please get it themed to Nemesis, like the Phalanx Research Area, or the Phalanx Research Ride, or Phalanx Ocopter, the search for what was his name? Toby. I don't know what his name was. But yeah, the fact that you have the whole Phalanx area, and then you've just got the back Subterra, it doesn't. No, then you got the back Galactica. It doesn't make any sense because Nemesis is literally all themed around Nemesis and the Phalanx, and then you've got Galactica. It doesn't have the theming to it, unfortunately. Now, if there was some sort of contamination which happened, or some sort of strain of malware on this device, very unique. If it turned red, very unique. But no, they turned it blue and made sure it was an intergalactical space station. Not unique. It's literally not even themed to the VR. Might as well prepare it for air again, because it's that bad. Now, the ride itself is very smooth. It's not that long. It's very short-winded. And it has some good inversions. I think it's got 4 inversions on it. But whilst you're also seating as you're looking down, you go as the chain list. So you start off at the bottom basically, and it's really weird because you're underground, and then you come out from then you go through this little tunnel which is not themed at all. The station is now themed. You've also got Eve, which you no longer see on the ride, but it goes, "Oh, I'm your AI," and then you never hear of her again. I mean, why have TVs that say, "Oh, I'm your AI," and then it's just weird. So yeah, you have this little loadout effect where basically all the lights turn blue and white, in this pulsating sequence, and then it goes out, and then the next thing you know is you go up the chain lift from the little tunnel that was meant to be themed. It isn't themed. Then you go up, and then you whiz round the track, and you go through the portal, which yet again looks very unique at dark. I'm not even joking. At dark, it looks amazing. And then you basically finish the ride because you go past a bunch of trees, look around the car park, and then that's it. It's a really dull roller coaster, but it contains 2 stations, has no thing in the queue line, not good. So if I do change it in the future, like I said, it could have some sort of malware theming to it, which again the Phalanx could have contaminated, which is really cool to see. But at the same time, no, they haven't done that. It's literally Galactica. Hope I see it in the future. I hope something bad happens to this roller coaster. Not bad as bad, but I hope something unique happens in the storyline, so this roller coaster then becomes in part of the Phalanx or Forbidden Valley, as they call it. Anyways, I am going to leave it there. Tell me what you guys think of Galactica. Do you think it should change? I think it should change. Smile always. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for 360 subscribers. Smile always.